JD's comment of, what the heck is that poll? I'd take any multi-million-dollar job that was offered to me.
Would you? Do you want that pressure? You take the Florida job.
I want the millions that come after I'm fired. Can I just press the fast forward button? Because I'm going to fail.
You got to go through it all.
I'm inevitably going to fail as the
into this
college football coach.
16-year-old's house and eat dinner with his deaf granny to try and convince him to come to your school. Got to do that.
I could do that part.
You got to organize the practices and
I could do the organization part.
The weightlift regimen and all of that. Then you got to go through practices.
That part I would start to falter.
Then you got to go through the spring game. Fans are going to be looking around like, what the hell type of offense is Jessica Benson running out there? Then you got to go to the regular season. Who Florida play first? How many games could you win at Florida next year? Let's find out. I'm going to try and figure out who Florida plays.
How many games I could win at Florida next year?
As head coach at Florida.
Just showing up, essentially.
You start right now. They hire you right now. Right now.
Florida football schedule 2025, 2026. No, wait, 2026. Wrong year. They got to have a gettable out-of-conference game, right?
I'm assuming so.
I see their
2026. They got Florida Atlantic. Are you going to beat them?
Yeah.
You going to beat Campbell? The Camels?
The Camels are going down, yes.
All right. And then you go... So those are the first two, and then in some order,
Kentucky, Arkansas, LSU, Texas A&M, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Georgia.
Georgia on October 31st. Saturday. Do you make it to the Florida State game?
That's questionable.
Do you make it?
Probably not, if we're being completely honest.
So again, how many games can you win? You got 2. You beat Auburn. Auburn's looking for a new coach. We'll say a possible with Auburn. Pavia's gone. This Vanderbilt magic is gone also. Yeah. So you get Vanderbilt. So you get
I don't want him without Pavia. What's up, everybody? It is Monday, November 3rd. It is going to be a good day. It is another Grizzlies game day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, a whole lot happened over the weekend. The Grizzlies played 2 games. One of them was without Ja Morant after he got suspended this weekend. We will get into all the happenings. Gary Parrish will join us a little bit later on to continue the convo. Also, the college basketball season tipped off this morning. We'll get his take on the first week of action, his take on the Tigers. We'll do a little World Series talk because Game 7 was a gem. Busy football weekend, too. We'll give you our dirty dozen plays to describe the weekend that was in college football and the NFL. It is a Monday. You know what we say. Abolish daylight saving time.
What?
Yes, get rid of it.
Why?
Because I was asleep at 8:30 last night. I was awake at 8:30. I was annoyed.
191 Collabs, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners, brings Grizz Nation hyper-local Grizz gear from Memphis designers. The next drop is the Top Notch collection from proud Memphian Brandon Hobbs and his clothing brand M-Town Merch. The homage to Memphis culture, classic sportswear, and elevated street style is only available at the Grizzlies Den on Friday, November 7th when the Grizzlies host the Dallas Mavericks. Get your tickets today at grizzlies.com/tickets or visit the FedEx Forum box office.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat.
How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Now that's the new edition way.
But I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation.
It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Certainly not a dull weekend if you are a Grizzlies fan. I would have loved, CJ, a regular schmegular weekend. I really could have used a regular schmegular weekend as we approach 4 games in 6 nights here at FedEx Forum. The home team back in the building at FedEx Forum for a busy week of home games. Instead, I think I talked to a record number of people out and about this weekend. Record number of people who came up to me at restaurants, on the golf course, at the park, on the Big River Crossing. Everybody wanted to talk about the happenings that took place on Friday and that ultimately consequentially turned into Saturday's news. I always know when something is big because then I also start to hear from my people outside of Memphis and my friends who don't even particularly follow basketball, and they're like, girl, are you okay? Is everything okay down in your parts? Obviously, the passionate fans here, this was probably one of the most discussed topics of the weekend. I had people asking if we were going to do an emergency podcast on Grind City Media. And I was like, you think CJ's coming in for an emergency podcast? Have you met this man?
There's not anything that can happen in the wide world of sports that would make me come up in here on the weekend for an emergency podcast. We've seen this before. Maybe not like this, maybe not here, but we've seen this before. No. This is something that, no, there ain't no way in hell I'm coming up here. On a weekend, it popped off on Friday.
When the Titans and the Chargers are playing?
The Titans and the Chargers, did you see that game? Oh my gosh. Phillip Rivers threw a pick 6, 3rd play of the game.
Phillip Rivers?
And it was everything in me.
Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, Phillip.
Oh, of course.
And he's the Chargers dude.
Oh, get out of here. Anyway, I say all that off the top to preface this with people care so much here, right? Like, I think that is something that was abundantly clear over the weekend. Care about all involved, care about the Grizzlies, care about John Morant, and the local conversation is going to be different than the national conversation. And that's just always a truth with wherever you are, but especially here in Memphis. When we left here on Friday, we knew the Grizzlies had 2 games this week, one against the Lakers, an NBA Cup game on Friday night, and another against the Raptors on Sunday. We did not know that the Grizzlies would be playing one of those games without their star point guard because he got suspended for what was deemed conduct detrimental to the team. That conduct reportedly came from an exchange between Ja Morant and Tomas Isolo following the loss to the Lakers on Friday night, an exchange where Ja's, quote, tone was deemed inappropriate, according to the report. 1-game suspension was served yesterday. If you needed any reminder of how important Ja Morant is to this team, you saw it last night in their loss to the Raptors. He supported the team on Instagram. He posted a Let's Go Grizz to his story. Loved that. But before we get into all of that and look at this very busy week at home and where the team goes from here, let's go back in time and go through this, because Friday night feels like it was a million years ago at this point. I am back to hating the NBA Cup, CJ. I tried to care about it. I said on Twitter, I hate all cups. Every single cup. Teacups, coffee cups, bra cups, cupcakes. Yeah, I hate all cups. After sitting and watching the Grizzlies fall to
You lie.
1-8.
You don't hate cupcakes.
Yeah, that might be a step too far.
Calm
if
down.
someone put a cupcake in front of me,
down.
then I'm maybe teacups. I already said
You said
teacups,
teacups.
but I meant both the ride and
the drink.
I just want to make sure all cups feel included in this cup. That's how miserable it was on Friday night, watching the Grizzlies lose another NBA Cup game on a really cool NBA Cup court. Watching Luka Doncic destroy. Death by Luka is tough. Death by self-infliction may be tougher. Something was so clearly up in the second half of that game when you reflect back on it. Like, keeping it 100, it was, at the time, a game where I found myself thinking, this is the most disengaged I have ever seen Ja Morant on the basketball court. That is just the facts that were going through my head as I watched it. It wasn't like it was that way the whole game. He had the nice steal early on through an alley-oop to Jalen Wells, and he had 8 points and 4 assists at half. Now, most of that work actually came in the first quarter, but then coming out of half in a game where the Grizzlies had built up a 14-point lead, led by as many as 15 in the first half, and then it was like Ja Morant was allergic to the lane. It was like he was playing the floor is lava, and anything inside the three-point line was lava. Like, it just wasn't attacking the basket, standing out around the perimeter, both on offense and on defense. It was a 1-point game when he came in late in the third quarter. And to be honest, he had 3 really nice passes in the last 2 minutes of that third quarter. And I remember on the radio broadcast, Eric Hasseltine and Elliot Perry saying, okay, maybe this is where he takes over and the Grizzlies are able to come out with a win in this one. Those passes were really nice. They were like the most laissez-faire, nice passes I have ever seen. The little laser lob to Jock Landale, who finally dunked it, like didn't come down with it, just went straight up, took it to the basket. It didn't even seem to get a reaction. And listen, I am not a woman who is ever going to sit here and say, smile more, because I know how annoying that is. And I personally hate when we become hall monitors of emotion on the basketball court and in life, but as an observer, it was impossible not to observe that something was off. I had a friend text me, is Ja sick? I had another friend text me asking if he was hurt. I had another friend text me asking if he was trying to prove a point or something. Like, people in the building were noticing, people at home were noticing. You had Blake Griffin pointed out on the Amazon Prime post-game show in a very honest and critical way, but just talked about, how talented Ja Morant is, how speed is his number one weapon, and pointed out coming off the ball screens lazily, how on defense, just standing in the corner, pointed out, this is someone who's making $40 million as the leader of this team. And even Blake Griffin was questioning, is he sick? Is he hurt? And it ultimately goes to the point of, like, this team goes as Ja Morant goes. And when he's engaged, he's an all-world talent. And I truly believe that if he had been that Ja on Friday, we're talking about a Grizzlies win over the Lakers. We're probably talking about a very different weekend tonally for this team. And instead, we got a performance that Chris Harrington dubbed quiet quitting in his article at the Daily Memphian. And I thought that was a pretty accurate description. CJ, what did you experience watching the game on Friday before we get into the next part that happens after the game?
Just basketball to me. I thought it was odd that he wasn't being as aggressive going towards the rim as he typically is, but I didn't think anything untoward was happening. I didn't think that there was any sort of a beef brewing or anything like that. I just thought, okay, for whatever reason, he has been told, or he just does not want to get downhill and go towards the rim. I didn't think anything of it. It happens sometimes where moments of frustration in a game takes a player or players out of what they do best. And I thought it was just one of those type things. I didn't think it was anything larger than that.
Well, and I'll be honest, like, it wasn't just Ja down the stretch. Like, outside of Jalen Wells delivering energy, it felt as if it was a bit of a lackadaisical approach by all involved. And when you go back to the first half, and like Jaren Jackson Jr. started with an awesome game, and then he didn't score in the second half until, I think, about 2 minutes left. So John and Jaren combined for 2 points in the second half of that game. When you look at the best stretch of basketball, one of the best quarters of basketball that we've seen from the Grizzlies this season comes in a second quarter where they go on a 19-0 run. They put up 44 points. They build up that 15-point lead. And it was the result of a bench group of Vince Williams Jr., Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells, John Conchar, and Jock Landell, a real like junk it up lineup where I even was saying at the time, like, this lineup has no business being as successful as they are right now. But things were flowing. They were turning defense into offense. It just felt like a vision of what this was supposed to be. And then it all comes crumbling in the second half where they're outscored 62 to 43. And even as I was walking down to the court to do the post-game duties that I have, I think it was a 9-point game with about 4 minutes left. And it felt like a 30-point game. Like, it just felt just so over. I've never experienced a game that was still totally gettable in NBA scoring standpoints. Like, 9 points in 4 minutes is nothing. We just talked about a 19-0 run. Like, runs happen. It's a game of run. It's the sports of runs. You have one of the best closers in the NBA in Ja, and yet it felt totally ungettable in the case of Friday night. So we get to the end of the game. Grizzlies lose. I'm down on the court to do Rewind with Lang Whitaker, and then I have to pop back up to Radio Row to do the first portion of the postgame show before we do the double post. And usually we get a heads up before Coach talks because we run Coach's press conference on the radio broadcast, and he's not coming. Like, I'm just riffing. I'm running out of air because I ran up those stairs. We're doing highlights. We're getting through everything. And we hadn't gotten a text, and so Bennett, who runs the production part of it, puts up the audio just to make sure that we're not missing something. And Coach starts talking. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got him right there. It's at the beginning. And I assumed that he was just reading a statement and bounced, because we see that with coaches sometimes, right? Where they don't take questions. They just read their statement on the game, leave it at that, move on. Come to find out, there was no media there to ask a follow-up question to Tomas Isolo. And I'm explaining this because I saw a lot of confusion on why more questions weren't asked on Friday night. But the way that it worked was Ja Morant gave his locker room availability at the same time that Tomas Isolo was sitting down to do his press conference. And so the media was with Ja. The media was not with Coach Isolo. And when Ja gives his locker room availability and responds to questions with, ask the coaching staff, and when asked what could have gone better on Friday night, said, according to them, probably don't play me, honestly. That's what the message was after. When people are asking, why didn't anyone ask the coaches about Ja's comments? There was no opportunity to. It was over. Like, Tomas Isolo was done at that point. And so nobody could ask in that case. The team travels to Toronto the next day for their game on Sunday. But we're left with just that. And I think most could agree. CJ, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think most can agree, even though there's a lot of polarizing opinions on everything that transpired this weekend. It's not great when you're 6 games in and your star player is openly, is feuding a fair word?
There has to be a bit more back and forth for a feud.
A fussing and a feud has to have a back and forth.
Fussing, bickering right now. Yeah,
because that's where I've been trying to find the right word.
It's a feud. They're bickering.
Okay.
They were bickering that game, yes.
It's never a good sign when the business comes out, right? Like, I just looked at this and said, God, I sure wish that this is something that could have been handled privately. Because if it's just the game, we're talking about it in a frustrating manner and certainly still pointing out the second half performance, but it doesn't turn into all that it turned into. And I think baseline, no matter where you fall, most of us can agree that this is something that coulda, shoulda, would have been kept private. And it also felt in real time like it came out of left field. Not maybe when you get into the nitty gritty of it all, but left field in the sense that through this season, and I'll say it again, we're now 7 games in after the loss last night in Toronto, but Ja had been saying all the right things. He had been pretty complimentary of Tomas Isolo. This is a coach that he had gotten behind and praised in the process of Isolo going from interim coach to being named head coach this offseason. Just after the Pacers game, Ja talked about how he liked the communication style that occurred during the game between the players and Coach Isolo. And if you had asked me Friday morning, or even Friday leading up to until after the game, like, hey, has Ja Morant taken a step forward in leadership this season? I would not have hesitated. I would have said, yes, absolutely. Like, the biggest example, I think, is going back 2 Friday nights ago. And God, Friday nights have been just real big bummers for this team this season. But after the disastrous loss to the Miami Heat, said all the right things. Like, took ownership, had a pretty good attitude coming out of a pretty stinky loss. And in the aftermath of trying to like figure out what caused this swing and talking with people in real time after the game, like you start looking at rotation patterns and you start looking at the substitution patterns and maybe there's something there. Like Ja might be playing over 30 minutes a game, but it's low 30s. And Jaren's averaging 28 minutes a game this season. And these quick trigger substitutions are something that seem to be causing friction. From a player standpoint, you can certainly understand in a sport that is driven by like getting in rhythm, why playing 5 to 6 minute stretches, and then getting subbed out can be frustrating. Personally, I have noticed players' reactions to go back to being the hall monitor of emotions here. Like you can just see it. There's an obvious frustration at times this season, early in the season, but when guys are getting subbed out and they don't seem to be thrilled with that in the moment. And from Isolo's side, like he's trying to keep fresh lineups for this high pace, high intensity system. And all of that ultimately brings us to Saturday, where we get the news that Ja Morant was suspended by the team. And according to Shams in his report, he cites tension in the last few days with rotation patterns and culminated during the Lakers game, after the Lakers game, this exchange that happened between Isolo and Ja, and Isolo calling out Ja's leadership and effort in front of the team, according to Shams. And everyone else watched, and Ja responded in the way that the team deemed inappropriate. And it's just, I know now we're 7 games in, but in the crux of the weekend, you're just sitting here like, it's 6 games into the season. 6 games. And the Grizzlies decide the 1-game suspension is the right move. That's now been served. But it was a surprisingly dramatic weekend so early into this thing. It is November 3rd. There is so much time to rectify all of this. But it will be something that has a glaring spotlight on it as the Grizzlies come home and play 4 games in 6 nights here at home. CJ, your reaction?
That's nothing we hadn't seen before, right? Star players. We just went through a whole season with Miami and Jimmy Butler beefing back and forth. Now that was a feud. This one hasn't gotten to that point yet, and you need to nip it in the bud before it gets to that. Everybody needs to get together.
How about quarrel?
Quarrel?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, maybe. Again, quarrel and feud, I think of back and forth, right? There hadn't been publicly, there hasn't been the back and forth. So maybe they are behind closed doors. But like, I don't know because I'm not there. All I know is it's not good when the best player on your team and your new first year 7-game into the season head coach is never good when they aren't seeing eye to eye and it's boiling over to this point. Somebody in charge above them step in and be like, hey, yo, I don't know what's going on here, but we've got to find a way to make this work. What do you need? What do you need? Let's talk about it. Couples counseling. I know a great couples therapist that I think everybody could go and talk to. Let's find a way to make this work. First things first, I don't know if anybody's been to couples counseling. The first thing you do the very first day is, hey, introduce yourselves. All right, we're going to do this exercise. You tell me 3 things you like about that person, and then that person's gonna tell me 3 other things that they like about beautiful. You. Like sit down, Ja, 3 things you like about Isolo, 3 things you like about Ja, and let's start from right there and try and continue to build positive momentum going forward because it can't be this. I don't have all of the information now. I don't think anybody has all of the information. We don't know what was said, how it was said. All we know is the boiling over point. So
I think you bring up the most important part.
I hesitate to jump in too hard on one side or the other.
Only the people involved know what was said. I don't know. You don't know. Joe down the street doesn't know. Susan on Twitter doesn't know. Everyone has a lot of big thoughts about something that, frankly, we don't know a lot about.
It's frustrating. And we are all this frustrated 7 games in. They've got to figure out a way to cool this down and make this work. Because I can't imagine that this is how anybody in charge would want the season to go. I've had, believe it or not, Jessica, in my life, I've had a run-in or two with a boss. A run-in or two. And at a certain point, in one of these instances, shout out Miss Priscilla. She was my shift partner. And I was supposed to do something at work, and I just flat out didn't do it. And it could have ended really, really badly. And so at the end of the day, she pulled me to the side and said, hey, if you don't do it for anybody else, man, do it for me. I know we cool, man. Just do it for me. I understand they're getting on your nerves, but we got a job to do, and like safety is like key. It's the top of the list of things we need to be doing. If you can't do it for them, do it for me, man. And maybe that's something that somebody on the team can convey to Ja, where it is, hey, I know he's on your nerves. Guess what? He's on mine also. But we got to do this for each other. And maybe that's enough to rein him in a bit and make him decide, all right, when these moments of frustration come out, I'm not going to boil it out into the public. We'll take care of it in the house. But I honestly, I don't know. Again, I'm trying to throw out solutions here, people. Go see a couple therapists, dog.
Let's take a quick break because we are obligated to take one. But we'll come back. We'll continue to talk about it, where they can go from here, how they can move forward. If not couples counseling, the idea of learning how to communicate, work together, good old-fashioned base level of teamwork makes the dream work, because this is the NBA and life comes at you fast and there's not a lot of time for things to sit and simmer, because there is a game tonight and the expectation is for Ja Morant to rejoin this team back at home tonight. And you want to know the quickest thing that would shut everybody up? A great game. It was last Wednesday that we were
capable of it.
More than capable. I saw so. Take the break. We'll come back. I'll talk about all the mess that we saw on the internet this weekend as we move forward. Gary Parrish will join us too a little later on. We'll keep talking with GP after a quick break.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Grizz Nation, don't foul out on dinner plans. Hit Sticks Express in downtown Memphis instead. Fresh hibachi, steak, shrimp, sushi tacos, and yes, our legendary sake slushy to keep things cool. Order online with code STIX901, STIX 901, and knock 10% off your tab. It's the perfect pick and roll for game night. Sticks Express, fast, fresh, always a slam dunk. And hey, come see us at our Collierville location too.
Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back. It's available in the Grizzlies Den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com. Rip into bold color parallels, electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next-gen talent. Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites Ja Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
The Grizzlies are the one thing everyone in the family can agree on. So join us every Sunday this season for Sunday Family Fun Days. It's a steal at just $35 and includes a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, post-game free throws on the court, and a meet and greet with mascot Grizz. Space is limited, so grab your tickets now for this unique experience your family won't soon forget. Go to grizzlies.com/Sunday and have a fun day. Yes, CJ.
Let me just say that the chat is being so reasonable right now.
Oh, good.
Full of level-headed, well thought out.
Oh, I think you're being sarcastic.
Very much so.
Oh, my bad.
Very much so.
But we appreciate everyone who's here and participating in the
I
communication.
love the chat. I love hopping in here reading what they've been saying.
I love the chat as well.
It tickles the hell out of me.
Days like today, I'm often too busy to read the chat, but I see you. I appreciate you. Stay cool. Take a deep breath. It's November 3rd. I've had people all weekend asking me, you think it's over? It's November 3rd. I think they mean that in a multitude of ways, but I really don't think this has to be viewed in the explosive vacuum of that. Naturally, the national media is going to start firing up the trade machines and write the think pieces. Locally, I think there's fair frustration from a lot of people who have staunchly stood through Ja with everything. Some of those people a little wavering over the weekend. I go back to what we were saying on the way out. The quickest way to shut all of this up is to come out and put up a great game against the Pistons. Now, that's easier said than done. This is a really good Pistons team and have some attributes that I think will be particularly challenging for the Grizzlies as they are currently constructed. The best thing I saw over the weekend, Zach Edey warmed up before the Grizzlies-Raptors game, and it is November, which means time's a ticking for Zach Edey to make his return to this team. But I think it's pretty clear, and maybe it's not as clear as I think it is based on some of the responses of people. The Memphis Grizzlies are at their best when Ja Morant is playing basketball, when he is playing at the level that we know he is capable of playing at. Like, I get that things move fast. I get this is a what have you done for me lately, and the most latest of the latelys is get suspended for conduct deemed detrimental to the team. But it was last Wednesday that we saw another Ja Morant game winner. The Grizzlies are probably losing to the Phoenix Suns if Ja doesn't hit the game winner. The Grizzlies could have lost to the New Orleans Pelicans to open the season. The Pelicans, who, if you want to feel a little bit better about your current situation, could be worse. You could be the New Orleans Pelicans. Like, we were just talking on Thursday of last week about the success rate of Ja Morant in late game situations where he has the second most game winners in the last 10 seconds since 2019, and he's shooting them at a 50% rate. That is crazy. For every voice loudly trying to declare that this is a player who has dropped off of superstardom, you still get the flashes of it when he is out there. And again, not playing like he did in the second half. I'm not excusing that. And I'm not excusing what was said after the game. But to suggest that Ja Morant does not still have the talent to be one of the most impactful players in the NBA is just silly. And that he doesn't have the talent to be one of the most important players right now for this team, because Ja Morant can get by someone. And Ja Morant can handle the basketball. And this team right now, with the injuries that it has, with no Ty Jerome, with no Scottie Pippen Jr., it was glaringly clear how important it is to have Ja Morant on the court. Last night against the Raptors. Hell, I have a note from Friday's Grizzlies-Lakers game, if we were just going through it like a normal game, in big stars in the first half, nobody can handle the ball when Ja Morant is off the court. Like, all respect to Cam Spencer, who started last night, to Vince Williams is back. And I will say, if you're looking for positives from these last two games, like to actually get into the meat of what we've seen from this team, Vince Williams Jr. has looked good. I don't necessarily need point Vince in a perfect universe, but his shot looks comfortable. He's defending well again. I thought we were getting Vince Luka 2.0 on Friday night before everything was blown to smithereens. But Vince Williams looked good. Cedric Coward continues to look good. I'm personally ready for Cedric Coward to start. You just let me know when it's going to happen. I understand the argument. It's not who starts, it's how it finishes. No, I want to see Cedric Coward start for this team because I think Cedric Coward is one of the best 5 players that this team has available at the moment. Jaren was good last night against the Raptors. I know he gets in foul trouble again, but he had 20 points. Trying to figure out how Ja and Jaren work together will be the secret sauce or the not-so-secret sauce of this season's ultimate success rate. But I will continuously go back to this team is at its best when Ja Morant is on the court. We're not doing this again. There's this weird narrative. It started years ago when he would get hurt or when he was suspended, and especially when the Grizzlies had someone like Tyus Jones backing him up. But Ja is still a very, very, very good and impactful player.
Look, man, I saw some of that as well. I was like, oh, okay, dudes are just saying stuff right now. There's no way you can look at this team this year, 7 games in, and say, oh, yeah, they'd be better served without Ja Morant. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. He is your best offensive weapon. He is your best facilitator. He's the only dude on the team who can go out there and consistently get his own shot. He's the only dude on this team right now who can go out there and make the game easier for somebody else, right? Like it's crazy to insinuate or to think that this team is somehow better served without Ja Morant. Ja Morant, this whole thing is built around Ja. This whole thing is built more or less with him at the forefront of the thought process, and it should be. Now, could there be more? Maybe, possibly. I think that might be recklessly speculating. That might be some of what bubbled up, right? But you're talking about a team who, against the Raptors, they couldn't go by the Raptors. The Raptors looked up and said, oh, can't none of these dudes dribble. Get into them. Make them go by you. And they could not a single solitary one of them could just put their head down and go to the basket and get good things to happen. Ja Morant is on that court. They're not crowding the Grizzlies in that sort of a way because you got to be in help defense. You have to be in help with Ja Morant on the court because Ja Morant has the handles, the quickness, and the understanding and the athleticism to go by dudes, get in the air, make floaters, make dunks, get to the bucket, get fouled, kick it out, force another swing, get open looks for somebody on the court. I understand people being frustrated. I do, and we got a couple of frustrated people in the chat, and y'all tickle the hell out of me.
Out and about.
I understand that, but you're not doing yourself a service by lying about how important and how good this player is. Again, they got to get together. I don't sit around the table like it's a mob meeting. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. Like, you guys got to talk, please.
I also think there's something to be said about learning. I know it sounds like a throwaway, flippant, and you got to learn how to communicate. But part of life is learning how to communicate with people who have different communication styles than you. And I saw the clip of Tomas Isolo from, I think it was last March, talking about how he deals with certain players. And I think there is a level of directness and frankness. We've heard from players on this team who have discussed how pointed Tomas Isolo is in his coaching, in his criticism. And that can be a difficult, I'm not trying to lay excuses out here. I'm just saying when you're looking at things that can get figured out with plenty of time at November 3rd is learning how to handle new communication patterns and new levels of constructive criticism, whatever that may be. So sit at the table, talk, have the come to Jesus, have the come to Grizzlies, and move on. Sometimes something like this really can be the best thing for a team. And it's far better to be happening late October, early November than in March. Far better to be happening early, because early means it's still fixable. Early means there's something to rectify. If it happens much later, you're perhaps looking at something that has been simmering and brewing, and that's where you get into some real shaky territory in like the salvageability of things. So I would rather be sitting here having to have this discussion today than far later on into the season.
I mean, it's all about how people respond. That's it. I don't know
it's the truth.
I don't know what this moment is going to mean because the moment hasn't finished yet, right? Like you're saying, you can still fix this. This is happening relatively early in the season. It can be a motivating factor. It can be a catalyst for change for everybody involved, coaching staff, Ja, and the rest of the team, everybody involved. All right. But I have to see it. I do have to see it because it can go the other way. It can go the other way where this is a thing that looms for overhead for a while. And nobody wants that. The coaches don't want that. The players don't want that. Ja doesn't want that. Find a way to communicate better effectively with one another so that this type of stuff is not boiling over, so that this type of stuff isn't being brought to our attention. You got to listen, man. I've worked a lot of big boy jobs, and believe it or not the easiest person to get along with. Had a lot of run-ins with people in charge, peers, people under me, because at one point in time,
you were a manager.
I was a manager.
What a life.
I've had run-ins with people, is my point, at the workouts. Got to find a way to communicate effectively, though. You have to find a way to make this thing work. That's part of the point of being a head coach, is finding a way to get the most out of your players and to bring them where you need them to be. Like that's part of it. There are going to be moments of frustration like this. We've seen great coaches have moments of frustration with all of the great players, all of them at one point in time or another. You got to look to that and try and find a way and see what they did to get the most out of that player. Larry Brown and Allen Iverson butted heads. That's a whole practice rant. Phil Jackson butted heads with Kobe. Phil Jackson butted heads with Shaq. Shaq was butting heads with Kobe, right? But they still found a way to make that thing work. Yet it's going to happen. Towards the end there, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were at each other's throats towards the end there. Still found a way to make it work. Last like 4 or 5 seasons. Still found a way to make it work. This happens sometimes. You got ultra-competitive people in an ultra-competitive environment. Nobody likes to lose. Nobody likes to underperform. Everybody's got big goals, dreams, and aspirations for themselves. So it can sometimes boil over. That desire to win, that desire to be great can become, instead of us versus them, us versus us, because we're bickering. We're back bickering. Find a way to calm everything down, to settle everybody in, and get and establish an effective line of communication, both coach to player, player to coach, so that this thing can take off the way that you need it to take off.
We'll take a quick break. Gary Parrish is going to join us on the other side. We will chat with GP about all that, plus college basketball already tipped off. We were watching Winthrop and Queens before we started. Oh, you want an update on the Winthrop-Queens game?
I love it.
Let me tell you, Queens is up 60-57 with 10 minutes to play. What a game thus far. We'll talk to Gary about the biggest storylines in college basketball, his thoughts on the Memphis Tigers after some disappointing exhibition losses going into this season. That's all with GP after a quick break.
191 Collabs, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners, brings Grizz Nation hyper-local Grizz gear from Memphis designers. The next drop is the top-notch collection from proud Memphian Brandon Hobbs and his clothing brand M-Town Merch. The homage to Memphis culture, classic sportswear, and elevated street style is only available at the Grizzlies Den on Friday, November 7th, when the Grizzlies host the Dallas Mavericks. Get your tickets today at grizzlies.com/tickets or visit the FedEx Forum box office.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
It's early, but top 4 in win shares per 48 minutes in the NBA right now. Cedric Coward is in that group. Do you want to know who else is in it?
Who?
Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I like that company.
That means the American player with the highest win share per 48 minutes, Grizz rookie Cedric Coward.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation, Friday nights just got a whole lot better. Introducing Buckets and Beers, the ultimate way to tip off your weekend. Every Friday this season, grab a terrace level ticket to the Grizz game and 2 12-ounce Miller Lights for just $55. Get great seats, cold brews, and Grizzlies basketball. It's everything you need to start your weekend off right. So get the deal that's too cold to hold. Go to grizzlies.com/Friday to lock in your tickets today.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Welcome back. It is Monday. That means it's time to catch up with Gary Parrish, host of The Gary Parrish Show, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on Grind City Media. He joins us every Monday. He joins us now. Gary, we've had better Mondays coming out of weekends.
Sure.
It wasn't the best weekend if you were a Memphis Grizzlies fan.
No.
Fair?
I think that's a fair assessment of things.
How do we move on?
Oh, you just do
You just do it, right?
You just do it.
Yep.
You just do it. You just wake up and you say, okay, that's something that happened, and I would have preferred that not have happened, but it is now in the past, and let's see if we can make today better than yesterday. I won't pretend that I'm the best at this in my own life, but I know that's the way you're supposed to.
That's the textbook,
Yes.
or the blueprint going forward. I think we have all, in our lives at times, been a part of uncomfortable situations and then had to stick around and live in the aftermath of them.
Sure.
But the truth of the matter is time keeps going, and in the sports world, something that cures things quickly is winning. Now, we will find out rather quickly if this team is built in a place where they are able to find success in a pretty tough week with the Pistons tonight.
I think tonight's a big game for a lot of reasons.
On all sides.
Yes.
It's a hard matchup. Even
Right.
if we weren't talking about everything else that comes with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like the Pelicans to be coming into town tonight.
That would be swell.
Man, I could use the Pelicans these days, but no, it's the Pistons, and the Pistons are better than the Pelicans. Yeah, it gets difficult, but you know, let's see what's what. But undeniably, whatever tonight was supposed to be, it is now bigger than it otherwise would have been.
You've been around basketball a lot for many, many years, and when you saw how things transpired, and obviously, ultimately, Ja gets suspended for a game. But the crux of the issue of what we know, and there's a lot that we don't know.
Sure.
We know that there was an exchange after the game on Friday night that led to Ja having what was described as a tone that led to him being suspended. We know that we saw Ja Morant in the second half of that game play in a way that had Blake Griffin on the Amazon broadcast pointing it out, and others watching saying, I wonder what's going on. Is he sick? Is he hurt? Is this unusual to you? You've seen this so much in a variety of ways. Is this different? Is this one of those run-of-the-mill
It is not unprecedented.
issues?
It
Yes.
is not unprecedented for a player to, for lack of a better verb, pout on the court.
Sure.
As you noted earlier, Chris Harrington in the Daily Memphian called it quiet quitting. It's not unprecedented. I think you can find a Kobe Bryant example probably somewhere. Like, oh, you think I'm this? Well, let's see.
You can find a Giannis example fairly recently.
Kobe quit in the playoffs. Kobe quit Game 7 against the Suns in the playoffs.
So it's not unprecedented, but it is unusual and obviously less than ideal. To be clear, this is a fact. Tomas Isolo does have unusual rotation patterns relative to most NBA head coaches. That's just a statement of truth. I can understand, without weighing in on who's right or wrong, I can understand how that might be frustrating. You're used to playing 8 or 9 minutes at a time. Suddenly you're playing roughly 5 minutes at a time. And when you are taken out of a game at some points early in the season, you feel like you're still fresh and or just now getting into a rhythm. I can understand how that would be frustrating. You have pointed out, both here and on television, that you've seen other players, not just Ja, be frustrated with it. So I get that. And I think that is a totally reasonable conversation to have on the plane to Toronto. It doesn't need to unfold the way it unfolded. A, with what happened on the court, B, what happened reportedly in the locker room, and C, with what happened with Ja's post-game media availability. None of that is good. There is a reasonable and possibly helpful conversation to be had between star players and coach about how we're substituting. I do think Ja and perhaps Jaren and maybe some others should have a voice in that, if genuinely they are uncomfortable playing the way they're now being asked to play. And Thomas Islo has told me specifically, like in a conversation we had, he wants to listen to his players, and he does listen to his players. And he even, in a conversation I had with him, I guess it was last month, noted that there was one practice thing where Ja and Ty Jerome together came to him and said, Coach, can we do this, this? And he said, oh, that's not the way I was going to do it, but I'm listening to you. Let's do it that way. So he has the ability, the willingness to listen. And I think that he probably should. And wherever these conversations land is fine with me. But the conversations can't take place the way that they took place or unfold the way that they unfolded. These are things that need to be handled privately, and I'm not quite sure why they weren't.
And when they're not handled privately, then it leads to all sorts of speculation. And as CJ and I have both said, like, we don't know what was said. But I can assume, and sometimes you get into messy territory when you assume, but that there was a bluntness used by Tomas Isolo that that was uncomfortable, was maybe a new experience, and it was not met well.
I think that's all reasonable. Those are all reasonable things to assume. Like, if you listen to Isolo speak, first off, it's important to note, I think, this is his second language.
Yes.
Okay? He speaks
it very well.
He speaks it very well, but he speaks directly and in plain terms.
Well, have you ever, I get into this with people, not to really make a thing out of this, but when you travel to Europe. There is a directness with Europeans that I think sometimes makes Americans uncomfortable. I have many a times heard from people who say, oh, I don't really like to go to Paris or Rome or wherever because I think the people are very rude. And I have always taken it from a stance of, I think we're just not used to it. I think there's a level of discomfort that comes in communication, one, with someone speaking in, and most people over there speak English, but it is their second language. And so it comes across as very straightforward and to the point. And two, we do a lot of sugarcoating in this little country that we live in. We had a lot of flavor.
Not to sound like a jerk, but I had this experience a couple of summers ago. We were in Monte Carlo, and I went to play golf in Monte Carlo.
That sounds like a jerk thing.
I knew it was.
That's okay.
And I felt unwelcomed. Like they didn't want me there. Like I was, and I just was contrasting, like if there was someone from France who was at my golf course and I just happened to bump into them and they were on the putting green, I'd be like, I would want them to feel great about being there.
Let me make you as comfortable as possible.
And I felt like they were trying to make me as uncomfortable as possible. Like nobody would help me with anything. And so I know what you're referencing. And I'm not saying Isolo is that directly, but he does. You can listen to any press conference he's ever held. He speaks directly and in plain terms. And I do think it's helpful. I believe Anthony Sane tweeted a link to it. That's where I saw it at least. But there's an interview a sit down that he did with someone, the name escapes me, I apologize. But it's from earlier in the year, and he's just talking about a number of things. It's really, if you're a Grizzlies fan, fascinating to just...
I would suggest every Grizzlies fan, or anyone who wants to have an opinion on the situation, period, go back and listen to that.
And you can find it on Anthony Sane's X account. So he is, Isolo, talking directly about how to handle, quote, difficult players. And he more or less said, I'm paraphrasing here, but his approach is to do it early and and directly. And just get it out in the open. Nothing has to be unsaid. We all know it. We're all like, I'm a basketball coach. We're all basketball players. When somebody isn't doing the right things or bringing the right energy, we all know it.
Right.
We don't need to pretend that we don't see it.
The quote I wrote down from it was, how can you ever change if you don't bring the thing up?
There you go.
That is his philosophy.
Right.
And it is also his philosophy to do it in front of everyone.
And it is not his philosophy to let things fester, to hope that, okay, this isn't right today and it wasn't right to yesterday.
Maybe it'll fix itself.
But maybe it'll fix itself. He doesn't believe in things fixing themselves, apparently. He believes in let's talk about it, let's resolve it, let's come to an agreement and move on. And so what I imagine happened in that locker room at some point is he did exactly what he told you he would do when he met with something he believes is being difficult for reasons that aren't great. Right. He dealt with it directly, and according to at least Shams Charania's reporting, Ja did not accept it well, and it led to where it led. But I do think it's important to note that though we don't have an audio recording of what was said in that locker room, I bet you the sentiment, regardless of the words, I bet you the sentiment wasn't much different than what Blake Griffin was literally saying on Prime Video at more or less the exact same time, and that's pretty telling.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was another tough one last night in Toronto, where you were reminded that this team needs Ja Morant.
You just can't win with that lineup.
You just can't.
I mean, it was obvious. Watch the game. Like every time they'd get it back to a place where you're like, okay.
It never felt, even when they got it back to a place,
it was back to the other place very quickly.
And against a team that you would like to think at this point in the season, even with injuries, hey, you should at least still beat the Raptors.
But not last night.
But not last night.
No, not with that lineup.
And one more out. You're down 4 rotation players due to injury.
Yeah.
And you're down your starting point guard due to a suspension.
Yeah, and like
you were going to have to get real lucky if you wanted to win that game.
Yeah, like Cam Spencer's amazing, but like
as a catch and shoot 3-point specialist,
he's not supposed to be a starting point guard for a team trying to make the Western Conference playoffs.
Imagine if the Grizzlies won the Glow Bowl, as Devin Walker was calling it, because it's the Glorilla Bowl with her boyfriend
courtside.
Brandon Ingram courtside, still throwing the M's up.
Sure,
we've still got her.
Sure,
I don't know, after last night, it might have been a little shaky.
I think she'll be.
But I said, imagine the Grizzlies.
I would guess, bold prediction. She'll love Memphis longer than she loves Brandon Ingram.
Okay, I like that prediction. It is her home. But I thought to myself, imagine if the Grizzlies pull out a win with starting point guard Cam Spencer and Brandon Ingram has to go home with Glorilla. And she's like, how about Cam Spencer as the starting point guard last night?
What left Brandon Ingram for Cam Spencer? Now that's the one I want.
Now we're just getting crazy. We'll see. I mean, this is a big weekend, or not a big weekend, a big week at home for this team. And we'll know pretty quickly the response to everything that occurred.
I will say this, perhaps reading too much into it, because perhaps reading anything into it is too much.
Yeah.
But I do like that Ja posted.
I loved it. I meant, thank you for bringing that back up.
The Go Grizz.
I
that means something to me.
It meant something to me.
Because, again, maybe I'm projecting here, but when you get upset and then publicly scolded, because that is what that is on some level, to be clear, they did not have to suspend him.
Yeah.
We didn't know what happened in the locker room. Right. And though the media availability was weird and awkward and frankly just wrong, there wasn't like some chorus of things on Friday night like he must be suspended.
No, not at all.
They wanted to make this a public statement. The franchise, the front office.
We're not putting up with this.
We're drawing a line now.
This is the boundary.
We're setting boundaries, and enough is enough.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do what they did. So I think there's a message in there. They wanted to publicly handle this.
Yes.
They could have privately handled it. The front office wanted to publicly handle it. And I think it's reasonable to wonder how Ja would receive that. There were a lot of people on the internet, national media, suggesting that it wouldn't be well.
Yeah.
But when he posted that very little thing yesterday, but still a thing, to me it's almost like there are options here. When this happens to you, even if it's self-inflicted, you can shut down or you can take a breath and slowly creep back in.
And that's maturity. And I agree. That's
You know what it reminded me of? Tell me if you
gross.
think this is a stupid comparison.
Sure.
But like you're in a disagreement with your husband or your wife or your best friend or a coworker or whatever, and you're like, you hadn't talked in a couple days the way you might normally talk in a couple days, but then you really want that part of it to be over. You do want that to move on and let's just get past it. Then you see them post something on social media and you just hit a like, just like a real passive, like, hey, I noticed you're here and boom, boom, boom. That's what that felt like to me from Ja. Like
or you send a meme.
A little gesture of
Send a
like,
link.
hey, I'm good.
I'm still here.
While the whole world's out there talking about, am I going to ask for a trade or am I going to? I'm good. Go
I'm still
Grizz.
throwing a good Grizz.
Go Grizz. I'll see you Monday night.
Yeah.
That was encouraging to me.
It was encouraging
in a
as well.
discouraging weekend. That was an encouraging thing.
Yes, because one of the other things that got posted this weekend that like kind of broke my heart, and everyone can roll their eyes and say, "Oh, here goes emotional Jessica again, trying to bring the human side of it." That picture of the team at the World Series game.
Yeah.
Was great.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Zach Edey paid for, or the way I understand it, paid for a large number of tickets for both staff members and players to get to go to the World Series game.
Like the first thing I saw was like Darby was there,
Yes.
and I was like, that's cool. And then
Hasseltine, Fish, and Brevin were there, and I
that
was like,
was
oh, they all
Game
went.
7 of an all-time great World Series.
It was a great game.
It was amazing.
And Zach Edey, obviously being from Toronto and having the opportunity, he's a baseball guy too. Like he played baseball long before he played basketball. I thought the whole thing was awesome, but I found myself hurting for Ja from a human standpoint of look at this picture of the whole team together out there getting to partake in this game together, have a fun time. It's a long season, getting to do fun things along the way can certainly help ease some of the monotony of it all. And I was like, Ja's back at home and didn't get, and by his own consequences for his actions, but I did find myself thinking like, that's gotta hurt. That's a bummer. And then for him to still post the thing the next day. I'm not trying to read too much into posts, but I was encouraged by that.
The way I interpreted it was as a gesture of everybody calm down, let's move on, and maybe even some sort of acknowledgement of, I was out of line, or I'm embarrassed a little bit, or something. It felt like there was something there. You can't shut down in that moment. That's probably the way I would do it. I just shut down. But I like.
Or you get so nervous that how anything you say is going to be interpreted at that point that shutting down is the easiest thing.
Perhaps it's nothing what he did, but it meant it meant something to me.
Something that means something to me. College basketball season. We were watching Winthrop Queens.
You were?
Yeah, we were before the show started.
Oh,
we
wow.
really were. We
Well,
found out
you were more bored than I was.
Queens is not in New York.
I think I knew that.
Queens is in North Carolina. Or one of the Carolinas.
Yeah, there's a few.
I said that like I really know where Queens University is.
There's a few things like that. Don't fact check me on this, but I want to say Manhattan College is not technically in Manhattan or
Is it
something.
in Kansas?
No,
Is it Manhattan,
no.
Kansas?
Like, it's like in the Bronx or something.
Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, if Queens University was still in New York, I would think it made sense.
There's something
no.
like that, though. There's something like that.
Well, I really knew that we were coming upon the college basketball season when I was watching college football on Fox this weekend, and a graphic popped up of like ranked Michigan State versus ranked Arkansas, and my husband goes, "Well, they sure got that wrong.
Right.
Neither of those teams are ranked."
They're talking
and I
basketball.
Go, it's college basketball,
Right.
and they really could have had a designation on the graphic because we're watching football. But alas, we are close. What is the game that you're most looking forward to in this opening week of play?
You get Duke, Texas tomorrow, and that's an opportunity to see Cameron Boozer, one of the premier freshmen, against a high major opponent, in the opening game of the season. So that'll be good. Tonight, the best game on the schedule is probably, it's the only ranked against ranked matchup, Florida against Arizona. So your reigning national champions playing a ranked opponent in their season opener. All those dudes who were in Florida's front court to win the national championship last season, they're back. The backcourt is entirely new, but it's interesting the way Todd Golden went out and did it, sort of sign of the times. He loses Walter Clayton, Denzel Aberdeen, Elijah Martin, all of his guards, all of his good guards, the ones that you saw them beat Houston with to win the title. In a different era, you just have to rely on whatever high school players you signed to come in and fill those voids, and you're probably not as good as you otherwise could be. But in this era, with the transfer portal, they just went out and bought two established old guards, Xavion Lee from Princeton and Boogie Flan, the McDonald's All-American who was at Arkansas last season. So now they've got two experienced guards to go with arguably the best front court in America. And I'm not picking Florida to repeat, but they certainly have a realistic chance to do it.
Should we be concerned about the Memphis Tigers?
Yes.
Oh, that was such a quick answer.
Yes. I mean, but yeah, we just watched them play two good but not great teams, at least on paper, and they got destroyed in both of them. Particularly you played 4 halves of basketball, and the last 3 that we've seen were really, really bad. So that's tough considering those are the types of teams they're about to play basically every other game. Yeah. For an extended period of time, you start looking at the KenPom numbers, and it has Memphis going 6-7 in the non-league portion of its schedule, and the KenPom numbers don't factor into what we just saw, which is these exhibition blowouts. If you were throwing the data, and I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying if you were throwing the data from those exhibitions, Memphis would go from here at KenPom to torpedo, and the numbers would look worse. Yeah. And so what I'm afraid of, not predicting it necessarily, but certainly recognizing it's on the table, is that they lose about every other game, through November and December. And this is not a fan base or a city that is used to that. We used to watch John Calipari almost never lose. Right. The idea that you could start 6-6 at Memphis, not have a number next to your name, that building starts to look a way that not good for anybody. And so, yes, to answer your question, we should be concerned. They might still be the best team in the American and still win the American and still go to the NCAA tournament. But by the time we get to that part of the schedule, they could be banged up pretty good, and the at-large stuff is just done.
Out the window. Well, that's a disappointing way to end this, Gary.
I wish I could have lied to you. I should have probably.
Yeah, I should have lied. Oh, well. Thanks for joining us, as always.
I'll lie next time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what a real friend would do.
That's right.
We'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. That World Series was awesome. Want to talk about Game 7. We'll also do our Dirty Dozen from the weekend in football, describing the weekend in 12 plays, 6 from college football, 6 from the NFL. Plus, Memphis Tigers got a big old professional win on Friday night. We'll get into all of that on the other side.
Watching the Grizzlies is easy with FanDuel Sports Network. If you have cable or satellite, you're all set. Find us on your channel lineup. You can also use your TV provider login to watch games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. No cable or satellite? Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online. You can also watch on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription. Not sure where to start? Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com to learn more.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat. How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it. I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Check this out. Last season in the NBA, there were 139 40-point games. We're like 5 days in, 6 days in, and we have had 16 already. It is on pace for over 300 40-point games.
Holy crap.
Sheesh. That would be the pace.
Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at grizzlies.com/Saturday.
Welcome back. Outside of the eventful Grizzlies weekend, it was a very eventful sports weekend. We got a Game 7. Did you watch any of the Game 7 of the World Series on Saturday? You didn't?
No.
But we're a baseball show.
Oh, I forgot.
Come on. Actually, it was awesome.
Okay.
Nothing makes me want to be an actual baseball fan quite like a Game 7 of a World Series, and then next year I won't watch baseball until the postseason comes around again, and I'll say, God, this is so fun. Why don't I watch this all year? And so on and so forth for the rest of my life. But it was a great game. I mean, the Dodgers' 9th inning was insane. The Rojas game-tying home run, and then his play at the plate where you just see the inches that come between a team and glory. Like a fraction of a cleat is the difference between the Blue Jays winning that game, and I think this will be one of the most haunting images for Blue Jays fans for the rest of their life, and having to go to extra innings where ultimately they fall and the Dodgers go back-to-back. It wasn't a very fun night in my household. I was reminded just how much my husband actually hates the Dodgers. Like, it's not a normal sports hate them. Is there any team in your life, CJ?
Ohio State.
So when Ohio State wins a championship, it ruined your night.
I hurt watching the national championship game.
That's how it was for Chris and his Giants friends.
Ohio State and Notre Dame were both in the national championship game last year, and I hated every moment of it. Yes, so.
He was
As well
so
he
much
should
so where
be.
he goes, well, this has been a hell of a sports night in our household. And I go, excuse me, USC beat Nebraska thanks to Dylan Raiola breaking his leg. Because that's the only reason. I want to be perfectly clear. Thank you, fake Patrick Mahomes, for sacrificing your leg so that my USC Trojans could stay in contention for a spot in the college football playoff, which I have made my opinion perfectly clear. I know Iowa's coming around that corner, and I know what's happening. But it's at home, I know, so it's not in the snow, but still, it's just, ugh, it makes me sick thinking about it. Anyway, between the play at the plate, the Andy Page just taking Kiki Hernandez out with the game-saving catch. My favorite moment, though, that I did want to reflect on was Yamamoto coming in to pitch the last 2 2/3 inning of that game after he threw 96 pitches the day before. He said he wasn't even sure he was going to be able to pitch until he stepped into the bullpen. And he comes in, and when Vlad Jr. stepped up to the plate, he tips his cap. And it was such a quintessential competition, this is sports moment. Like, here's this pitcher coming up against one of the best hitters for the Blue Jays, and it could be the moment. And God, if Vlad Jr. is the one who wins it for Toronto, like, what a time that would be. And he tips the cap, and he just breathes out. And it's almost like here we go. Like, I could just hear the music in the cinematic version of it. Oh, I love sports even when I hate sports. It's just so remarkable, and it was very fun. He was the MVP, and Dodgers go back-to-back. And if you're like my household, I'm very sorry that it ruined your entire weekend to see the Dodgers win, to see the Dodgers be rewarded for pushing all the chips, pushing all the money in to win a World Series.
All the money in, and they coached them up good. So shout out to the Dodgers. Back-to-back.
Back-to-back. First since the Yankees. Memphis football beat Rice on Friday night as we were all experiencing Grizzlies-Lakers debacle. But a nice professional win. Down goes the food. Allegedly in front of a 20,000-person crowd. That was with the reported attendance at the Rice game. There ain't no way. But they're now dealing with another Brendan Lewis injury. He took a hit in the fourth quarter. Don't really understand why Brendan Lewis was in the game up 31 in the fourth quarter when he's already been injured twice this year, but he was, and now we'll see what his status is for Friday night's game because it is a quick week for the Tigers. They play Tulane on Friday. But I found myself with D'Angelo Williams in the back of my head saying, even if you don't trust one of your other two quarterbacks when you're up 31 on the road, you got 3 damn good running backs. Just hand off the ball and let them take care of the rest of this game. So we'll see what the update is on Brendan Lewis when we hear from Ryan Silverfield later today. Let's do our Dirty Dozen, our plays from the football weekend, 6 from college, 6 from the NFL. CJ, I will let you start with your first college play. Okay, maybe not.
First college play, throw it up there, Jacob, because college football was great. Let's start with the Clemson debacle.
You're starting with the Clemson debacle.
Let's start with, because this was early. This was early. Let's start with Duke upsetting Clemson, going for 2 and getting the conversion, taking over. Well, not taking over, but like Dabo Swinney has 4 losses on the year, 5 losses on the year. When's the last time we saw Clemson football be this? It's been a long time. And this was a football team. A lot has been made about some of the other storylines in the sport. About some of the other teams we thought were going to be good ending up being bad. We'll throw Clemson in there as well. And they aren't just underperforming. They're bad this year. For Duke to look around and say, hey, we could tie it on the road, go to overtime, or we can go out there and get this thing and win it. Let's go for the win. And for them to convert that and get the win, oh my gosh, how far Clemson has fallen. And like I don't know if Dabo wants to stay through this year. I wouldn't.
I thought you were going to send the video of Dabo absolutely losing his mind on his defense in that game. That was like halfway through.
Halfway through, he does that. It's the losing your mind on the sideline only matters when you lose. We've seen coaches blow up. We've seen players blow up. And it results in everybody comes together. It's like, all right, let's shake it off. Richard Sherman, come and grab Richard, make him jump up and down on the sideline with us, Legion of Boom, and then let's go out there and take care of business, right? Like we've seen that. It only matters, though, once the game has been decided and once it's clear you've lost. So I went with the losing play.
That's fair. And good on you to remind people, lost in all of these schools firing their coaches. Clemson is terrible this year.
And look, I don't think you move on from Dabo if you're Clemson.
Especially not right now.
But I think if you're Dabo, you look around and say, yo,
is there a greener pasture for me?
When there is time, when my time comes at Clemson, there won't be near this many high-profile jobs open. I need to get one of them now.
Well, let's talk about another high-profile job that opened up over the weekend. And my play from this is actually, this feels like the play of the college football season. And you can fill in the school and you can fill in the coach, but yet another fan base sticking around to boo their coach one last time before he would ultimately get fired over the weekend. This weekend, it was Auburn fans sticking around to boo Hugh Freeze after their loss to Kentucky, a game in which Auburn scored 1, 2, 3 points. This is the sound. That is loud. The game is over. Thousands have stayed because they want their voices heard, that they are ready for Auburn to fire Hugh, which they did this weekend. Auburn had lost 5 of their last 6 games. He went 15-19 overall in his tenure there, 6-16 in the SEC. His buyout is around $15 million. If the loss itself wasn't the straw that broke the Hugh Freeze back, his comments afterwards just really drove it home. He said, I wish I could ask for patience, but that's not really something people want to give in this day and time. I understand that. I just know that we're so dang close.
Hugh Freeze always the one to try.
So dang close.
Always tries to play on that sympathy.
He'll be in his hospital bed yelling, so dang close. And I can envision it because I've seen Hugh Freeze in a hospital bed before. This was honestly one of my favorite ways that we have ever found out that a coach was probably getting fired, because Hugh Freeze canceled his tee time allegedly at the Auburn University Club for Sunday. Apparently he plays golf every Sunday after games at the Auburn University Club. And this wonderful user on Twitter posted the original screenshot of the tee times for Sunday, which included Hugh Freeze's normal tee time at 1:30. But then in the secondary picture, you can see that slot ultimately went to someone else, and that put the speculation fingers in the air. I wonder why Hugh Freeze would cancel his usual tee time on Sunday. I'm like, God, if only we had college football investigators on every major case in this country, in this world, we'd finally have the files. I'm just saying. They work hard. The devil works hard, but college football investigators work harder.
I think I would like to keep my tea time. Right? Like just the last thing I do. Last thing I do, like, okay, I'm going to go out here.
One more ride.
One more.
Okay, President, whatever your name is, I know I'm getting fired today.
I got this tea time,
Can I just make it through 18?
You want to walk the course with me?
Just make it through. You want to take one last walk?
One last
walk.
walk.
That feels like such a Hugh Freeze thing to do. And Hugh Freeze will find this because he Googles everything.
Well, you brought up that game. That was a schlop fest, but in the 10-3.
You had him away from it.
In the 10-3 with the go-ahead touchdown happening in the third quarter. 3-3 against a Kentucky team that is reeling. Somebody wasn't going to make it out of this game, right? Like, it was either Stoops or Freeze. And this play right here, the touchdown to seal the game 10-3 is what ended up doing it for Kentucky and Mark Stoops. Listen, man, I knew Auburn was going to be in some trouble when reports started coming out that they were telling their defense to take it easy on the quarterback, right? Because it was like, oh, and you're telling them to take it easy, and it's not springtime. We're about to kick off, and that story is breaking. It's like, ooh, no. This is probably going to be bad. You can't go. You can do that in practice, sure, but you're not going to be able to go up to a defense and opponent and be like, hey, D coordinator, be a little more vanilla for us. We got a quarterback here who's struggling to figure things out. But on this play, man, the play Kentucky scored on, like that was the to quote Pete Paranica, hammer nail coffin. That's what did it at the end of the day for Hugh Freeze. And gave Mark Stoops life, baby. He's still hanging in there. He'll be coaching at Kentucky again.
Because there's too many opening. Everyone's like, who are we going to fill these spots with at this point? But that's the way it is. I think Tennessee's holding on to their coach, but they are not holding on to any playoff contention after their loss to Oklahoma. I was trying to find a play from this game, but I decided the best representation of Tennessee-Oklahoma, man, do the Vols have a sick entrance on a Saturday night. I saw so many people share this, and it is true. The run through the tee is always epic, but on nights that they do the blackout, it is truly one of, if not the best entrance in college football. Like, it looks so cool, sold out crowd, the black uniforms, everything's rocking. And then unfortunately Tennessee's exit from the game, not rocking because they lost 33-27. I had questioned if the Oklahoma defense had been propped up by bad offenses at that point throughout the season. And then they went and picked off Joey Aguilar 3 times, or two interceptions on him, forced the fumble, and they had the fumble return for the touchdown. And suddenly you have an Oklahoma team that is the first team not named Georgia to win in Neyland Stadium since Josh Heupel took over in 2021. Really impressed with John Mateer. Looked much more like the Mateer from early season. He's been a little rocky since coming back from that hand injury. The rushing yard differential was huge. Oklahoma had 192 rushing yards. Tennessee had 63, and Mateer had 80 of the 192. He also had the shush celebration, and everyone thought that he was doing his best Baker Mayfield impersonation, but he said he just watched Gladiator. And I was like, I feel that. I hear that. UT fans are sad, but maybe I'm in the wrong UT fan group circles, but I was golfing with a Vols fan, or playing golf with a Vols fan this weekend. They seem pretty rational right now. Like, and not turning on the coach, not turning on the quarterback, not turning on the team. Obviously a disappointing year, having 3 losses, not something that Tennessee expected or wanted, but they're not setting everything on fire.
I don't understand how you can't expect to have 3 losses if you're Tennessee.
Right.
Just look at the games that they were playing on their schedule. So like that's first thing. Second thing, you think about what Heupel has done in resurrecting this program from one of the lower middle of the pack type teams in the SEC to he beat Alabama. He's gotten you to a playoff. You know, he's got ranked wins. He's re-energized, reinvigorated this Tennessee program, all while being a really, really fun team to sit down and watch. So I think they're still riding high off of some of the big time rivalry wins and the fact that they've gotten to a playoffs here recently. So yeah, they'll be fine. This isn't the same type of thing as what transpired at Florida, where there wasn't much success under Napier. This isn't the same type of thing that's transpired at LSU, where they come into the season with all types of hype, multiple seasons, with all types of hype and all types of expectations, and falling short. I think Heupel has over-delivered so far in his tenure on the expectations for a individual volunteer football season. This season notwithstanding, and hey, they're 6-3. Yeah. They've got some nobody on the schedule, and then they go Florida and Vanderbilt. You get wins over Florida and Vanderbilt. You're looking at a 9-3 season, and that's enough for you to argue with somebody about, hey, we should be in the 12-team playoffs. So they're right there. Speaking of Vanderbilt, they went on the road. They faced Texas. First play of the game. No clock has run off. None at all. It's still 15 minutes. What does Texas do? Hey, let's just run us a little screen out to the flat and try and get us 3, 4, maybe 5 yards. Instead, they run that little screen out to the flat, and Texas just looks like the bigger, better, more physical, more athletic team. As this pass goes 75 yards on the first play of the game to the house, and right then I was like, oh, Vanderbilt is in trouble. Them dudes are not ready for whatever this is that Texas is going to throw at them. Arch looked good in this game. Right, like
the resurrection of Arch.
Take that pass to the side because he didn't do anything but just toss it. So we're gonna
but
put that
he
over
had
to
a
the
very
side.
effective
But he
game.
looked good in this game. Texas was in control. Pavia made it interesting in the fourth quarter, like he's capable of doing. But the game was well in hand by then. Texas looked good Saturday.
Yeah, you had both of my favorite gamers of college football in Diego Pavia and Haynes King of Georgia Tech, just getting too big of a holes where ultimately not able to do enough down the stretch because Georgia Tech lost to NC State. That brings me to the ACC, where everything is a disaster and it's death taxes and Mario Cristobal losing to an unranked team in November, because not only did top 10 ranked Georgia Tech lose, you had number 10 Miami lose to SMU. That is the play that sealed it for SMU. Ahmad Moses picks off Carson Beck in overtime. They'd go on to score on their drive. SMU's first win versus a top 10 team at home since 1974, and they did it with 23 total rushing yards. They had -7 rushing yards going into overtime, and then they just ran the damn ball. They're like, you know what, we're going to run it now, and we're going to be successful at it, and they ultimately were. Before I forget to say, Ahmad Moses has been insane this season. Someone whose draft profile has definitely risen. He picked off Beck twice Saturday. I think he had 15 total tackles. But it does feel like this is who Miami is. Like this time of year, they really struggle to close out games. Like, why is Miami kneeling the ball in regulation with a timeout and 30 seconds left? They needed 40 yards to get in field goal range, and they kneel and just run out the clock and take it to overtime. And they're punished for doing it. They ultimately lose. Mario Cristobal is 24-7 in August and October at Miami. He is 4-11 in November and December. Once teams figure his team out, they are able to play in a lot of close games, and oftentimes Miami cannot close those games out, as was the case against SMU. And I do not know who is going to represent the ACC in the college football playoff. But at this point, you have Virginia, who is still 5-0. You have Georgia Tech 5-1. This is in conference play. You have Pitt at 5-1, Louisville at 4-1, SMU at 4-1, and Duke at 4-1. And now Miami 2-2. They're out. I love the college football playoff.
Are they ACC only getting one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't.
That's too many.
Oh.
That's too many this season. All right, let's do our NFL games. I'll start with the craziest NFL game Sunday had to be Bears-Bengals. Watching Bears-Bengals in real time. Joe Flacco was awesome. But Joe Flacco is getting the full Joe Burrow experience of being the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, because Joe Flacco threw for 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, led a huge comeback with the Bengals down 41-27 with 5 minutes left in the game.
Well, this is mine. This is very first play of the game.
First play of the game.
Very first play of the game.
Charlie Jones.
Should have known it was going to be crazy. Not just very first play of the game, people. This was the very first play of the Sunday slate.
Yes.
The very first play. You sit down, you turn on your TV, you get ready for your game. We were at Costco and we grabbed some of the Garrett's popcorn. So we got some of that. Got it in the bowl.
You had a great
And I'm walking, I'm popping popcorn into my mouth, and as soon as I sit down, the mix, the cheddar
and
caramel.
The
Yeah. And so I'm eating it, and I sit down like, oh, we got a breaking news. What's the breaking news? They already scored. Already? My damn.
We were talking about eventually doing a draft of like the best feelings in sports, like plays that bring the best feeling for the person doing them. I think scoring on the very first play of the game has to be up there. Even the play from the Texas Vanderbilt game has the similar surge. But that, my man, Charlie, after he hits the end zone, keeps running, jumps into the fans and sits on the ledge, and he's just like marinating in it. He's like, this is the good stuff. And then, per usual, it's the bad stuff for the Bengals, because somehow, after all of that, the Bengals still lose. And I'll tell you how somehow. It's their defense. Surprise! The Bengals defense somehow got worse. Next thing you know, Caleb Williams is hitting Colston Loveland, the rookie tight end, for a 58-yard touchdown to win. And when you watch this, it is just whiff after whiff. What are you doing? You're doing the Bengals defense thing. That's what they do. According to Next Gen Stats, the Bengals missed 15 tackles for 133 additional yards against the Bears, including the 35 picked up by Loveland on that game winner. The Bengals now have recorded 113 missed tackles this season, which has equated to opponents picking up an extra 800 yards on plays this year against the Bengals. The Bears had 576 yards of offense.
And they should have lost.
And they should have lost.
But they should have
deserved to lose.
But they should have won.
But the Bengals deserve to lose more.
Because they scored what I thought was a go-ahead score. They scored it, and then I look up, and the Bengals are right back down the field scoring on their own. Yes. The last minute or so of that football game, I think saw 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yes.
How many? Was it 3?
It was 3.
It's all 3 touchdowns in like a minute 13.
The Bengals came with 37 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, let's see what Caleb Williams does. Bing, bang, boom. Oh, there's Colston Loveland. How did the Bears win this game?
How did the Bears win this? But also, how did the Bears almost lose this?
Oh,
they
mine
were
was more on the
of
how
it.
did the Bengals lose this? But I know that.
The Bears, are they up 10? Everything in me feels like they're up 10.
No,
at
they were
one
up.
point.
They were up 14 with 5 minutes left in the game.
There we go.
They were up 14.
There it is. That's what it was.
5 minutes left in the game. It's 41-27.
Onside kick. Almost fit the onside kick
Yes.
in. Just nobody's going to fall on the football.
The NFC North is crazy. Bears 5-3, Lions 5-3, Packers 5-2-1, and the Vikings 4-4.
Almost pit the.
Do you have a play from any of those games?
Did I put the Panthers field? I don't think I put the Panthers field goal in there, but the Panthers knocking off the Packers was
all-go game.
Yeah. Though there were a couple of those. This is another one. Panthers top Packers, Vikings top Lions, Steelers topping the Colts. And you go back and you watch the box score. You look at the box score, and you're just like, yo, how in the hell did the Steelers win this game and win it pretty convincingly? Plays like that. TJ Watt, strip sack, fumble recovery. Steelers forced all of the turnovers in that game. Pit the Colts in really bad positions. Daniel Jones looked like bad Daniel Jones, like Giants Daniel Jones over the weekend in that matchup. And that's how they were able to do it. I picked that play because that was, TJ Watt doing something we hadn't seen TJ Watt do this year, but we've seen him do all his career. So maybe he's revved up and ready to go for the rest of the season. But the Steelers, their ability to take the ball away on Sunday led to them getting that big-time win against a Colts team and the Steelers maintaining their spot atop of the AFC North.
The biggest game of Sunday was Bills-Chiefs. And the Bills win 28-21. Just a standard regular season outcome between these two teams. It's different in the postseason, but the Bills have won their last five regular season games against the Chiefs. This time around, they were able to slow down Patrick Mahomes. They were able to force Patrick Mahomes to be the least efficient version of himself that we have seen in his career. He only completed 44.1% of his passes, the worst mark of his NFL career. He was also hit 14 times, the most of his career. And this one from AJ Epinesa. Bills fans were losing their minds in excitement, right? Because Patrick Mahomes takes this hit without getting a flag. And that is something that inspires feelings of elation. They could jump through a table. They were so thrilled with it. Epinesa, after the game, said they wanted Mahomes to think he had openings and then take them away. And the key was sticking to their rush lanes. And they did it successfully. Like, it is a bizarre experience watching Patrick Mahomes take hit after hit after hit. That's just not something that we see without there being a lot of laundry on the flag. And it's probably called a little differently in the postseason. And we will see at this point if the Bills, if this is the year that it's not just about the regular season wins. Because like I said, we've seen this before. And now we've seen the Bills. They beat the Ravens week 1 and beating the Chiefs this week. You had Josh Allen out-dueling Lamar Jackson, out-dueling Patrick Mahomes yesterday. They appear to be built for it, but I'll believe it when I see it happen in the postseason.
They appear to be built for it because that run game looks elite. That run game with James Cook looks terrific. And
their defense looks solid.
That means if you can run the football, you can play the time of possession game, you can play the field position game, and you've got one of the great game breakers of this era at the quarterback position in Josh Allen. So this feels a bit different from Bills teams past, but I like you, will wait to see it with my own eyeballs when they play the Chiefs in what inevitably will be the AFC Championship game. I will go with my last video. I know how y'all feel about Taylor Swift and the camera randomly cutting to Taylor Swift. But how do you guys feel about Cardi B? Because the camera cut to Cardi B a whole bunch in that Patriots game. Patriots, Falcons, Cardi B kicking it in the box with Robert Kraft? Are you kidding me? Give me more of that. I love seeing Cardi B on the TV screen. I loved it. It was good stuff.
She was doing the celebration with Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
Doing the whole thing.
Good
I like
stuff.
them as a couple. By that, I just mean I like when my pop culture world coincides.
Collide.
Hey, don't turn the music on before we have a very important moment for my last play.
Oh, I thought you did all of yours.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I want to thank Cam Little. I want to thank Cam Little for a big service. He kicked the longest field goal in NFL history, 68-yarder against the Raiders. And just like that, I don't even have to remember the guy who held the record before. Don't even have to think about it. What was his name again? I don't remember. I just remember that he was accused by 16. Oh, no, the other one.
Oh.
The other one. No.
I got you.
The one who was accused by 16 women at 8 different spas for inappropriate sexual
I forgot
conduct.
about him.
Exactly. Poof.
Oh.
I actually genuinely had a hard time coming up with his name, and it was amazing. I said, oh, he's gone. Out of sight. He was let go for football purposes. Don't forget the Ravens, doing the service because he wasn't a good kicker anymore.
Yeah. Like,
But also because... But also because of the other stuff. Darnell wanted us to give a shout out because Darnell's a big Jags fan, obviously. Formerly was with the Jags. And I was like, yeah, I'll give Cam Little a shout out because he saved us from having someone else's name atop the record books. We've also had 7 field goals of at least 60 yards this season.
It's incredible.
That's crazy. It's the balls.
You're just going to have to get to the
balls and legs.
To the 35-yard, your 35-yard line, not theirs, your 35-yard line. We're going to just get rid of punters at a certain point, aren't we? We keep pushing this thing further and further back.
We're just going to kick.
We're just going to kick field goals.
Yeah, it's at the point where if they're that far back, in my little back of my head, I'm like, maybe they should just kick it.
Just kick the field goal.
Who are we? What are we? It's Grizzlies game day. We're right back at it tonight. Will we be doing game-winning highlights tomorrow? Dear basketball gods, can we have a fun night at FedEx Forum in front of us? Grizzlies Pistons, 7 o'clock. We'll be there. The TV crew will be back at 6:30. I'll be on the radio with Eric Hasseltine, Elliot Perry. We'll have the warm-up show for you with Lang Whitaker. We'll get into all of that, and we will see you tomorrow. Enjoy this beautiful day. The weather turns back to some nice fall temperatures. Get outside if you can. We'll see you later. Bye.